George Romero directed Night of the Living Dead in 1968. It is a horror mystery film that created the modern zombie. The story begins with Barbara with her brother Johnny on their way to visit their deceased mother at a cemetery somewhere in Pennsylvania. During their visit, Barbara is attacked by a zombie. As Johnny tries to protect her, he ends up falling and hitting his neck on a tombstone, presumably dead. This has Barbara fleeing to survive. She finds refuge in a farmhouse um, where she'll meet others eventually, and as they prepare to survive the nights of horror to come. Many consider this a very controversial film for its time, or for its time. It was written by George Romero and John Russo, and it was produced by Russell Strainer and Carl Hardman. The cast for this iconic film is Duane Jones, Judith O'Dea, Marilyn Eastman, Judith Ridley, and Keith Wayne. Carl Hardman and Russell Strainer both made appearances in the film due to budget constraints. So Hardman played the role of Mr. Harry Cooper, and Russell Strainer played the role of Barbara's brother Johnny. The location was in Pennsylvania, middle class area. Filming style was a guerrilla style, meaning independent, very small budget, roughly about 100,000 or 114,000. Minimal crew, so people they hired they paid people of the city they were in to play extras for zombies. Some of the producers played actors for zombies. I think the producer's husband and wife, they did the makeup for the zombies. Anyways, cinematography was also done by George Romero. It was in a 1.37 aspect ratio using the RE35 2 series models of cameras, and film format was 35mm black and white. There were a lot of close-ups used to convey emotion, and Romero felt that blood and the horror and violence looked more realistic in black and white. Long shots like the one towards the cemetery, or the long exposure shot of the farmhouse should have conveyed this feeling of isolation and the feeling of grim, of horror. Lighting throughout the film is low-key lighting to give a more serious and draw a more attention to the actor's reaction and the realism of the situation. Here's like one of the scenes that I wanted to talk about. We see a flash of light here, bright light, we don't know who it is, and then we see Ben, first time seeing Ben. Her reaction is very like either she's standoffish, she doesn't know if she can trust him, but this can also be this can be looked at deeper based on race. And it's important to understand the racial tensions in the 60s. Film the topic of race, fractured groups, and overall social commentary of the war in Vietnam are brought up in this film. It starts with the unintentional casting of Duane Jones for the role of Ben. Romero had envisioned Ben as a white man, yet Duane Jones won the role, and he is a black man. Black men during this time, especially in the 60s, were rarely in the spotlight for the film industry, and yet this showed Duane casted as the male lead and hero of the film, which is very defiant of the social status quo. Race is not the main theme of this film, yet as we watch, we can see Ben's role become larger in the film, and we're more drawn to him as a character, but also that it exposes it doesn't necessarily expose race like that, but the discussions we have in race, you can see the tension within his discussions with Mr. Cooper, and overall just her fear. Right in the beginning of that scene that I presented, you could see either fear of the unknown or fear of the color of his skin. That's the implication, at least. But yeah, usually in black character roles, we would get dumb comedic reliefs or these like wicked black magic, like sorcerers trying to cast spells and stuff like that. But anyways, Duane made the best of his role, and we got an assertive, cool, calm, collected man who embodied the alpha role. And the sad part is, yet he isn't killed by the zombies, but slowly by shot by rednecks. Tension was at an all-time high during the the 60s. We had the depiction of horror of the Vietnam War shown to us, like no restrictions. And I think that Night of the Living Dead is trying to give a comparison of like through the zombies, like this carnage, this brutality. We've never seen it like this before, and you can depict the zombies as soldiers with their one primary objective: kill, search, and destroy, which are common military strategies in Vietnam. Overall, I think this film is amazing. I think I didn't really know so much different themes and sociocultural discussions would be in it, and yet race, power dynamics, um, anti-war discussion, and overall great social commentary is shown in this film. Thank you guys for listening to my discussion on these things, and I appreciate that. Thank you.